Respect our movement.
I like your movement.
Hey everybody out there, how's it going? Um, this right here is a sensitive subject that a lot of people don't discuss. A lot of people don't really want to talk about it. Either they scared or they shy. And I just want to take some time out today to really, dive in on this particular subject. If you haven't already, push like and subscribe to the channel. And I'm gonna jump right in. Today we're going to talk about the levels of intimacy. Now, please take heed to what I'm about to tell you. These things are very important, and this will definitely change the dynamic of your friendships. It'll change the dynamic of your relationships. It'll change the dynamic of your marriages. This is one that you really want to pay close attention to and listen to. So I'm going to jump right in. So levels of intimacy. I'm going to give you my levels of intimacy. And what I mean by my levels is the things that I see that we as men and women struggle with a lot. The first one is experimental intimacy. And you asking yourself, what does that mean? First of all, it's my first one that I really want to discuss because this one is very important. Experimental intimacy is experiencing things with other people without distraction. So basically what it is you're experimenting with your partner without distractions. That could be a date night, that could be going hiking, that could be going to amusement park, that could be going on out to eat without your cell phone, without your children with you, without other family, without anyone. It's just you and your partner, you and the person that you're getting to know, you and the person that you spend your time with. Because it's very important. The experimental phase is a phase to where we don't mind doing as far as dating and things like that, but we tend to be on our phones, or we tend to be, meet and greet with the kids or meet and greet with the family. And all of that is fine, but you really need to hone in on one-on-one time. It's very important to get that one-on-one time in a relationship, in a friendship, building a bond, in a marriage, anything like that. You really want to focus into the one-on-one experimental time. All right, my next one I would have to say is emotional intimacy. This is, I like to say, the main glue. Really is something that you have to work towards, because a lot of people are emotionally invested in other things. So this would be, creating a safe and vulnerable connection with the person that you're with, and being able to be vulnerable without being judged, which is very hard to do nowadays with social media and feelings being so fickle. People don't mind being vulnerable and opening up, but they're scared because they don't know what you're going to do with your information. They don't know what you're going to do with whatever they tell you. You could be a person that's trying to get to know somebody, and you're dealing with heartbreak, or you're dealing with all these things, and you find yourself in a position where you're telling this person, whether it's a male or a female, you're telling this person these things about you, and you find yourself in a position to where they tend to post statuses related to conversations that you had with them, or do things like that. And I find myself in position to where that is something that you kind of want to stay away from, because you want to build that emotional connection with whoever you're with, so it can be coming from an honest and genuine place. My next one, I would honestly say, would probably be the intellect intimacy. Being connected to something to where it's kind of like you're sharing ideas and curiosity with each other, which is very important. Learning how to really build with one another is definitely important. Being able to be mentally stable in a relationship is very important. It's one of those key factors to that level of intimacy, because I feel like if you can connect with someone on a intellect, on a mental note, on that mental level, you can unlock doors that you didn't think you could unlock. It's very important to really take the time to really get to know somebody's mental. The mind is a terrible thing to waste, but when you put two heads together, I'm telling you, it's definitely better than one. I will tell you that. Two heads are better than one. If you can work out something to where you can really take the time to learn how to build with each other instead of tear each other down, man, y'all could really take over. You could really be a power couple and don't even really know that you're a power couple if you don't take the necessary steps to really develop that intellectual intimacy. I would say my next one would probably be spiritual intimacy. And I know a lot of people don't really understand what I mean by that. And to me personally, it's, bond together, do something or be a part of something with a greater purpose than just you two. I don't care if that's, going to church. It could be, going to church together, praying together, making a vision board together. All of these things are important and they piggyback off of one another for very good reasons. Having that spiritual connection, being able to just take the world by storm, and the ministries that you guys can create is a beautiful thing. Having that spiritual bond and that connection to God is so important in relationships. Relationships are key factors in everything you do. They play a major part in everything that you do. Being able to be spiritually intimate with the person that you're with is a real goal that you should try to hit. It should be one of the top, if not the top goal that you should try to get to, is a comfortable relationship with God, your significant other, and yourself. Be able to be spiritually inclined by yourself and with someone else. Those are things that I feel like a lot of men struggle with, is being spiritually connected to something with a bigger purpose than them, and being able to reciprocate that through the person that they're with is something that men struggle with a lot. I struggled with it. I have moments to where I still struggle a little bit with things like that. And it's definitely important to strive to have a better connection, a better relationship with God, first and foremost. My next level of intimacy, I would probably have to say, I would probably go with physical. And let me start by saying physical does not mean sex. Let me repeat that. The physical does not mean sex. Um, Being physically intimate is basically just being comfortable with each other, being comfortable around each other, and being in a position to where you know when your significant other needs a hug or needs a kiss or a pat on the back, or it could be simple things like holding hands. Um, Long car ride, your girlfriend, your boyfriend, your husband, your wife, they may just, want you to hold their hand, or just take their hand. Experimental, experiment with that. Being in a place to where you can be physical, not just when someone is hurting, but just, long day at work, you may just come home and say, hey, how you doing? Kiss your boyfriend, your girlfriend, your husband or your wife on the forehead. Just that physical touch, that touch, being able to just touch them and really take the time out to really be on a physical level with each other is important. Being able to physically be there when something is going on, whether it's good or bad, is definitely something that is important. That one is one that I feel like women tend to struggle with a lot when caring for a man. A lot of women don't know how to physically be there for men because a lot of men don't know how to open up about what they're going through. So it's one of those things to where, and I'm no different. I've been in situations to where, things go on with me and I haven't said anything, and the person that I was with, would ask 100 times, hey, what's going on? What's going on? And you're like, nothing. So they don't know how to physically be there for you. They don't know how to have that sympathy or that empathy for you, because you're not in a place to where you're reciprocating that you need that physical touch. That is something that you really should really take the time to develop, in a sense, because I feel like everyone needs that. Lastly, one that I will say is definitely last but not least. It's one of the most, if not important ones that you will come across. And it's one that, a lot of people don't want to talk about. This one right here is the one that I am really going to tell you, hey, at the end of the day, we're all grown here. So let's be grown. The last one that I'm going to cover is going to be sexual intimacy. This is the most intimate. Let me repeat that. This is the most intimate that you can be. This is easier when the other areas of intimacy are nourished properly. The sex becomes more enhanced, more intense, and more passionate. This is not to be confused with any other levels of intimacy, but this is a key factor in intimacy. Now, I'm not going to act like this one is one that all men know or all women know, because to be honest, a lot of men and a lot of women don't know how to be intimate, period. And that's sex, and that's any of all the rest of the levels of intimacy that I gave you. We struggle. A lot of times women say all men want is sex, or all men are dogs, and you have the exact opposite when it comes to women. Some men say all women want is sex and money and these things. And to be honest, if you really take the time to hone in on these levels of intimacy, you can see that that is so far from the truth. Sex is oftentimes used as a weapon. Sex is used to punish the other in a relationship or in a marriage. Sex is one of these things that you really have to know what you're doing when you do it. It is definitely a soul tie, and it's definitely something that we don't want to discuss. We as Christians feel like, sex is something that we just keep on the hush. We don't talk about, but it's happening every day. It's happening right now. It's happening somewhere as we speak. And a lot of times we can't wrap our mind around it. Sometimes we think it's just a physical attraction, but let me be clear. Sex is part physical and part spiritual. And it becomes very, very enhanced. It becomes very intense. It becomes very passionate when your levels of intimacy are really nourished properly. Please, and I mean please, take the time, develop these levels of intimacy, and I promise you, your relationships, your marriages will be able to blossom. You will start to see things change. You will start to see your relationship and your bond and your marriage blossom into something beautiful. Thank you.